Welcome to One Man's Tracks, the second-hand music channel. My endless curiosity has blessed me once again with another classic album and introduced me to a hugely significant and storied Jamaican artist, Buju Banton. Born Mark Anthony Myrie in 1973, the youngest of 15, given the nickname Buju from his mother as he apparently looked like a chubby little breadfruit as a child, he began toasting under the moniker Gargamel at just age 13 with the Sweet Love and Mango Rambo sound systems, and inherited his Banton title from a similarly gruff-spoken dancehall DJ and mentor, Buju Banton. Buju released his first single at just age 14, and by 1991 he'd be signed on to Donovan Germain's Penthouse Records and befriend producer Dave Kelly. With them, he'd go on to break Bob Marley's long-standing record of most #1 hits in a year in 1992 with some dance hall bangers off his Stamina Daddy and Mr. Mention releases. International acclaim would follow, with Mercury and Polygram distributing his third release, Voice of Jamaica, the following year. It's a high-energy LP that charted in the Billboard 200s and shows a maturation of his sound and the beginnings of some more introspective lyrical content. This come-up, however, did not come without controversies. He faced some pretty serious backlash with regards to some violent messaging in his music, in particular a homophobic song called Boom Bye Bye. He wrote about a pedophile when he was just a teenager. It's been since wiped from his catalog, and he has declared that everybody has the right to live however they so choose. It ultimately wouldn't be that backlash that led to the major shift in consciousness from Buju in the following years. It would unfortunately be a tragic string of murders of his fellow collaborating artists that led to first that hit anti-gun single Murderer that would show up on this album. His fourth release, his first since embracing the Rastafari movement, produced by a host of talents. Really, the credits on here are an education in themselves. Released on July 18th, 1995 through Loose Cannon Island Records. Here's Buju Banton's bridge between dancehall music and roots reggae, Til Shiloh. A brilliant, reflective record. Its use of traditional reggae instrumentation combined with the digital dancehall rhythms all brought into unity with Buju's absolutely transcendent, infectious vocal melodies and deeply grounded, thoughtfully toasted verses. It's a masterclass in Jamaican fusion, not only bringing together an island of sounds, but managing to start to reach across that great expansive Atlantic Ocean towards that birthplace of civilization, those roots of humanity. Truly captivating performances from everyone involved make this an album that's impossible to listen to while sitting down. It's invigorating, and I can't help but be moved even further by the insightful, honest words and Mr. Banton's distinctive delivery. I am absolutely enamored with Til Shiloh's virtuous vibes. Buju's heartfelt passion is palpable in every number here. Each time I put it on, I seem to be hooked for its entirety, from its inspired, uplifting anthems to driven bangers and the heartfelt, empathetic outpourings. For over an hour, this thing gets me up and keeps my body grooving with Buju Banton's Strange Surrender as my guide. Starting us out by singing us a short prayer or kind of declaration of intention with a somewhat title track here called Shiloh. Strange this feeling I'm feeling, but Jah love we will always believe in. I know you think my faith is in vain, till Shiloh will chant Rastafari's name. Perfectly setting up this album's tone and then jumping straight into one of its most memorable cuts. Till Unlaid to Rest is a transcendent piece of roots reggae music. It's soulful, inspired, and so damn catchy, while Its goals may seem quite lofty, with him reaching back to his African ancestry, hoping for a centralized, organized return to the Holy Land. It's told with such tremendous conviction that I'm willing to throw away all this capitalist BS and just join him for the journey. Going from one passionate declaration to the next now, declaring his disgust with the senseless gun violence he's experienced in a very level-headed and pious fashion. Murderer comes strolling right in on a ridiculously hooky chorus, and the cadence and depth of his delivery here, once again, so captivating that it'll have you going along irregardless of your comprehension of its faithful lyricism. Next we have the victorious jam champion. Buju struts his stuff, wooing with a confidence and swagger that could leave a man with over a dozen children. It might not be quite as spirited as its surroundings, but nonetheless, this performance is still quite potent. Somehow transitioning from courting devotion to a near saintly consecration on the song Untold Stories. I like to think of this as Buju Banton's redemption song, where he slows down the pace and talks about the political disconnect with the struggles of everyday people. Really beautifully and thoughtfully highlighting that inequity with this hopeful melancholy. Now for my favorite on the record, a song that knows hardship and is prepared to walk through the fire with an inspiring buoyancy. It's not an easy road. A great combination of the digital and traditional with a perspective that is both heartening as it is burdensome. Just the right attitude that makes this feel not too unrealistic or overly preachy. Of all the fantastic earworms that are contained within this album, I find this refrain jumping to my mind the most. Heading back up to a similar energy and topic as that dancehall fusion banger champion is Only Man. It's energetic and more wholesome this time around, but its unrelenting toasting does make for a bit of an incomprehensible groove, whose fortunately the vibe of which does well enough to make the translation for you if you haven't quite got the lyrics on hand. Garnet Silk is featured on the heavy-hitting Complaint, setting this track's haunting tone with a performance that's sadly made even more impactful, knowing that he never got to see this song get released. Another unfortunate gun-related death. At least this time it was an accident, but at the end of the day, loss is loss, and losing a talented artist like this is a loss for the whole world that just kind of leaves us with some consolation songs and the wonder of what could have been. A great tune and just such a terrible circumstance. I think Chuck It So is where my comprehension of the Jamaican dialect starts falling apart here. Is this song a cautionary tale of sorts? I don't know. I really like the song. The backup harmonies and the hardcore dancehall breakbeats are great. I just find it pretty tough to decipher this one's meaning. How Could You seems a little clearer to me, inquiring about perspectives, staying decidedly positive despite knowing about all the corruption and short-sighted solutions being implemented. It just bumps these basic necessities with a forward-thinking approach, and it presents it with this upbeat attitude that helps move beyond those foregone negativities. Searching inside for another one of those human predilections on the following: simply sweet, sunshiny, wanna be loved. A beautiful song that leads us into a higher tempo bouncer called It's All Over, where I think my comprehension starts slipping again here. Is this one a competition for women to try to court men? I'm a little lost, but I still think the track's a banger. Putting away all that thoughtful introspection now and building off of Maurice Williams and the Zodiac's classic song Stay is the song Hush Baby Hush. It is just a track about good old-fashioned doing it. Closing out before that Ice Cube sampled remix of Champion plays is the song What You Gonna Do. It features the incredibly talented Wayne Wonder singing its Lonely Boy chorus, and Buju bringing it right up to the end with his deep, determined deliveries and his effortless flows. Such powerful performances across the board to produce this incredibly moving, inspiring reggae fusion project for the ages. Til Shiloh is a masterpiece that only recently received its well-deserved gold status back in 2019. It's a timeless LP whose 25th anniversary release contains a few unreleased songs from this era, so if you're interested, that's the version I'll have linked down in the description along with a ton of other albums. Go check out the rest of Buju Banton's discography for something kind of similar to this. Go to his earlier stuff or check out his independent follow-up in 1997 called Inner Heights for something maybe with a little bit more of a modern flair to it. He kind of has a little bit of trap leanings in his latest album, his Upside Down 2020 release that he put out after a near 10-year incarceration in the States for drug charges. As far as I'm concerned, it's all worth your while. Buju has worked with so many talented artists throughout his career and helped expose not just me, but a whole globe of people to the possibilities of dancehall, pushing that reggae envelope into the new millennium for a whole new generation of listeners. Over 30 years now, and he still seems as determined as ever to continue to share and evolve that sound till Shiloh. If you're looking for another reggae dancehall masterpiece, check out Chakademus Implies Murder, She Wrote. There's a review I did over there, and here's another one that YouTube thinks you'll like. Like this video before you go, and if you want more throwback retrospective reviews, subscribe. I keep making them. Maybe I'll get better. Thanks a lot. Take all the best care, guys. I'll see you next time. It's not an easy road, man, to see the glamour and the